Hey everybody, Blake here with Mojab. We're back for another Tech Tip Tuesday. It's good to see you guys again. Today we're talking about, this is our side-by-side version of our hydraulic jack, which for some applications, as you can tell, we got a smaller car, so this thing's just going to fit better. We're going to go over tools needed to install the heavy-duty mounting clamps and then also our billet tube adapters. So we don't have any flat surface to put this on here, so our options are to go to the tube. Best way to start this off will be, so grab your mounting clamps here. There's going to be two major differences between these clamps, and once you have them side by side, you can tell. This extra lip right here is going to be your top clamp because this space is to accommodate the handle. So they come with your hardware and everything too. We set aside these bolts because for the billet tube adapters, you're not going to need them. So you're just going to need the bolts, not the nuts. So there's those. We're just going to set them aside for now. Tube adapters have their own bolts, and we'll start by taking those off.
And let's just talk about the dimension as is. If you have, let's say, 2-inch diameter, especially on a race car application, so that's perfect. You do not need any sleeve. But we do have different sizes of the sleeves. So in our case, the tube on that buggy is a 1.5 inch, so that's a 1.5 inch reducer sleeve.
Yep.
So we have
fit just right there.
Just have the lead to be locked in, and then we have a sleeve for 1.75, which is the most common size gauge dimension. So
exactly. So like I said, we're going to start by just taking these bolts out to separate the top from the bottom. So there's that guy. And we'll just set these aside, give me some room here. Tools required, super simple. 10 mil and then 6 mil T-handle, or you can, use a socket, Allen, anything like that. But, so mounting the clamps is where some people have issues, but it's pretty straightforward. This foam, when you first get them, is very stiff because it has not yet had the jack in it, so it's going to mold to itself over time, and the idea is that they're stiff in the beginning to give you a really solid mount, and then once you lay it in there, it'll find its happy place and see where it wants to sit, and then it'll live there happily for the rest of its life, hopefully. So the best way to do it here is once you get your setup on where you want to put it, you can tell this front clamp is only going to want to sit in one place. So you see these two little notches right here, and then right before the handle starts to curve, that's where your top clamp's going to want to sit. It won't fit on either end, so you can't really mess up the top one. The bottom one has some leeway, so like right now, we even need to move this up just a little. And you can even move this to go in between this curve on your handle, whatever you got to do. For now, we're just going to have this guy right here.
yeah, it's super tight at the beginning.
Super. So, like we said, flat surface. Grab this. So, see how we don't have enough room here. Let's orient this thing better. Put some weight on him. Oh, goodness. She is very, very good. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, okay. So there's that guy. Bam. Alright. So after you fight with that guy for a little bit, best to utilize the buddy program here. So there you go. Alright. And like we said, that's
We
only
really want it this way to make sure it's just super tight. So you can actually lift the whole jack with the clamp.
Yeah, so you can mess with it. It's not just the top one either, you can do the bottom one. But once she's on there, you're good to go. So now we know these are flat, they're on the same plane here. So I'm just going to set this down that way, and then we'll start doing our bottoms here. So bolts. I'm just going to take this bolt, slide it through here. There's other mounting options if you're going to something flat, but for our application, we're going to the tube adapter, so you can only put it on one way. They have these two little threaded spots right here, so that's where your bolt's going to want to live. Start by spinning them on. And these things should thread in all the way by hand, and then you just hit it with your little 10 mil at the very end here. So get this guy out of the way on. Move on to the next one. If we thought forward a little more, we probably would have had a ratcheting wrench. That'll probably save you some time, but you know. As usual, you make do with what you got. So another thing is you have some leeway on whether you want this mounted towards the top, towards the bottom. We're just going to put it right in the center, but gives you just some extra room for adjustment if you need it. Speed this part up too. All right. Bolts. Doing this left-handed. There's already another thing too, there's Loctite on these already, so it may make it a little more difficult to spin these on, but slowly but surely. There's that guy. So now we
need to lower your jack a little bit because it seems to be not fully clenched yet. Yeah, it's locked. Yep.
Alright. Cool. So we have now adapted from flat to the tube. So then get our bolts prepped.
Let's also talking about the best position, one of our favorite positions to install this jack. We always said this is the best position to keep it completely upright. In our application, it's going to be like with 45 degrees angle, head's going to be on top, and then in the cases that you would like to install it horizontally, you certainly can, but we do not advise it for the permanent storage.
Yeah, like
let's say you're going to hit the trail like long weekend, even like 3 days, 4 days, even a month, you're going to do whatever, you're going to do like a week of Rubicon trails or whatever, is perfectly fine. Make sure to keep the valve locked and then mount it horizontally. Once you've done your trip, take it off and then, store it upright.
Yeah, if you're like us in Arizona and it's too hot in the summer to go wheel, just take it off, stand it up. The beauty is once you have your mounts all done, you can just leave the mounts on there. So if you still need to go drive your Jeep to the gas station, whatever, but you're not going to use the jack, let it stand up in the garage, and then when you're ready to go wheel, throw it on there and you're good to go.
Yeah, the other thing we would like to mention is don't keep it in a damp sort of, storage area or whatever. Make sure it's fully closed so the piston is not exposed. Yeah. So, just keep it away from the damp.
Exactly. Trying to not park it under a waterfall or anything if you can, you know. Alright, so another thing is placement, and this may be best with 2 people. For us, we already pre-marked where we're going to put this with electrical tape, so we know. Bottom mount's going to go right here, top mount's going to go right here. Let's make sure that's true. So our top mount's a little off, but that's fine.
That's fine.
So now, being that our tube is 1.5 and that's a 2-inch clamp, we're gonna take this guy and set him on there. Nice thing about the electrical tape too is that it'll hold your little reducers on here. So there's that. That guy's happy. And then we'll set the other one up in a second. Remember correctly, he's right about there. So we'll set this guy on. Bam.
Oh.
It's almost like we've done this before. So there's that. Bam, set your bottom. You know, make sure you orient the stickers the right way too. That's really important. Can't be looking like a goofball with your stickers on the wrong way.
They are here. I'll give it to you. You got it, Jay?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. This guy.
That's your T-handle.
Yep. Start your bolt. Spin it towards me a little bit. There we go. I end up doing all this with my left hand. So get that guy started. Same deal on the other side here. Just like most things too, if you over tighten one side and not the other, the clamp's still gonna work the same, but you're gonna have this like, I don't know if it's just my OCD mind, but I can't have the clamp like open more on one side than the other. So
you really want to start doing them equally.
Yeah, make sure you do them evenly just so you're keeping equal pressure on both sides too. Like we said, this mount is strong enough where it's really not gonna matter, but you don't want to be looking weird either. So there's the bottom. Top should be happy and hanging out. Grab our other adapter. Will you hand me those other 2 bolts, please?
Sure.
So, got our adapter set on the bottom. Thank you very much. Stickers. Stickers up. There's that. This guy in there. Thank you. Alrighty. Eventually, this will be tightened up just like the bottom. And then you are officially ready to go blow some tires up and hopefully use this thing. There you go. And that's Tech Tip Tuesday. Thank you guys again. Ooh, I almost let you go. Important stuff. People want your jack as much as you want your jack. We have this lock, and we also have this cover. This cover is important. It's just a leather topper for it, basically, but the cover is important because it'll cover all your buttons. The only buttons you have are on the top of this jack. So you just slide this guy over.
And the plunger.
Yep, all your moving parts and stuff besides the bottom and the main shaft deal, but this will just protect everything, keep dirt out of it, protect it from UV, stuff like that. So pretty crucial. You can pick those up on our website. And then we also have the lock, which goes, if you go around, yeah, it'll go right here. There's this little hole in your mount. Sorry, I'm doing this blind, but there we go. Bam, and you can lock your jack up. We call it like the honest man's lock because, you know, if someone wants it bad enough, they're going to figure out a way to get it, but at least it's a deterrent. It'll take them more time to try to mess with it. You can't just walk up and undo it and take off with it. We sell them, you can get either one or two if you want to lock the top and bottom. So, pretty good thing to have, but that's about everything for the install of your hydraulic jack.
Fairly easily, you can do it under 30 minutes for sure.
Yeah.
The other things we are...
Two people,
That's
you
correct.
can't do it by yourself.
Yeah, for sure. The other things we are in the process to, build is a full cover,
Yeah.
specifically for the full-size jack. So that cover is going to basically wrap around the entire thing,
Yeah.
including your clamp. So there's nothing going to be exposed. It's a UV resistant. It's a water resistant. So
Yep.
dust proof. All the good
Easy to
stuff.
take on and off, most importantly.
Totally.
But it'll just cover the entire thing, and that's while it's mounted too, is the crucial part of that. So it's not just like a storage thing. It's more of like a while you're using it or out on the trail or sitting all day in the sun or whatever. These are anodized, so they can change color if they live their life outside all the time, as most things do, especially like we always say here in Arizona. We get a lot of sun and a lot of heat, so anodized typically isn't too happy about it, but if you cover it, it'll just prolong the life of everything, as well as if you were to get super crazy and do double, where you have the head cover and the full body cover, that would be your optimal.
You're gonna have
setup.
one happy jack always all the time.
Exactly, that's your optimal setup. But I think that concludes today's episode. So as usual, thank you guys for coming back. I'll see you next Tuesday. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks.